In a land threatened by treacherous war and beset by demons, Royal Dowager Ista, released from the curse of madness and manipulated by an untrustworthy god, is plunged into a desperate struggle to preserve the endangered souls of a realm. Hello and welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I'm your host Liam, aka Hamvar, and today I'll be doing a spoiler-free review of Lois McMaster Bujold's Paladin of Souls. Paladin of Souls is a 2003 essentially standalone novel by Lois McMaster Bujold, who's a several-time Hugo Award winner. This is kind of a sequel to The Curse of Chalion, which I have never done a review for since I read it before I started this channel, though I did actually mention it in my top 10 reads of 2021, where it had the number 10 spot, actually. The Curse of Chalion is a very good book that you should go and read, and I don't really have anything else to say that you just need to go read it. It's very, very character-driven, character-oriented, very tightly written novel that is just superb. Paladin of Souls follows the character Ista, who is a support character in that first novel. She is a middle-aged woman. Her daughter is now safe in royal possession of sorts, and her elderly mother has recently passed, and she suddenly finds herself desiring to hit the road, essentially. So she flees her attendants, which are overly protective, since Ista was recently mad, though this beginning is a sort of false start. This story is not action-heavy, just like the first book. There are high stakes, of course, but Ista is not a warrior by really any stretch. She does become useful, rather than a burden that is, considered insane, and goes on a quest. There is also, again, more action at the end, though. Bujold does a great job of making a very semi-mundane world, which I feel like is very easy to get into. It involves largely nobility, which is, I don't know, just a thing, I guess, and, not really any other estate. But her positive goals in dark circumstances are very heartwarming and showcase the best of humanity. The gods and the demons and the magic, again, are present, but I personally felt Kazaril from the first book has a more compelling arc. This one is just as well written, but it's not as, or I should say beautifully written, but it's not as tight. I think it probably is a little longer. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it's not, but I didn't feel like I was having any time wasted when I was reading The Curse of Chalion. While reading Paladin of Souls, I was not nearly as entertained. And I was very disappointed by that, considering The Curse of Chalion was one of my favorite reads of 2021. I thought for sure that Paladin of Souls would be as well, but this has been my experience with a couple novels. For example, like Waylander by David Gemmell, I didn't enjoy as much as Legend or King Beyond the Gate, and that's probably because it's something I've read before, and in some ways it might not be different enough, and maybe it isn't just slightly isn't as good either, for that matter. And now this all comes down to personal taste. I mean, Paladin of Souls has a character that is middle-aged and a woman, which is definitely not something you see a lot of. You're seeing it more these days, of course, but even something like The Curse of Chalion had a middle-aged man as a protagonist, and not a warrior one at that. So, which, the only difference there is you just swap their gender, essentially. So, though of course there's other differences, but anyways, yeah, this one just, I don't know, it didn't grip me really like I thought it would and like I wanted it to. So that is a little disappointing. But Bujold is still a great writer, and I definitely will be reading more of her stuff. Probably more in the World of Five Gods, and I think I'll also start her Vorkasigan, I think is how you say it, sci-fi stuff, eventually as well. But again, I was just a little disappointed with this one, but it's not really bad. It's not bad. I was just disappointed is all. So that's basically my final thoughts. So you should go and read The Curse of Chalion, though, and if you really like that one, maybe come and read Paladin of Souls as well. So anyways, this has been Liam's Lyceum. I'll catch you next time.